Do you want to improve your shot power and all-round explosiveness out in the ice? Of course you do. What hockey player wouldn't? In this video, I'm going to show you 5 different hockey-specific core exercises that you can do at home to improve your hockey performance. Let's go. The first exercise we're going to get into is the V-up. Now the V-up is an excellent exercise for hockey athletes to train their rectus abdominis, or what most people just refer to as the abs, right? This is the six-pack ab area. Now because six-packs are associated with aesthetics and just having a good look, a lot of coaches make a big mistake and think that these muscles are more for show and not for go. But that's a complete mistake because you use your abdominals for a large portion of all of the core stability that you're seeing out in the ice. Your abdominals are sectioned off into smaller muscle groups, and they're smaller because they tighten. That's what they do. They stay tight. And because of that tightness, that creates core stiffness and core stability, but most importantly, anti-rotation. It allows you to really maximize your speed and overall hockey performance. So never get it twisted. The body would never have a set of muscle groups just for good looks, right? Even common sense says that doesn't make any sense. The abdominals play a functional role in human movement. So I'm going to bring Kevin in here and we're going to go through the V-up so you can learn how to train this in the most effective way possible. A V-up, you're going to be right down on the ground like this, and you're going to bring your arms up to your feet and your feet up to your arms. Notice how Kevin brings his entire upper body up off the ground every time and brings his lower body up, but also doesn't let his feet touch the ground in between reps. This keeps tension on the abs, and time under tension is a huge factor when it comes to training your abs because they are type 1 muscle fiber dominant. Perform this exercise in a time under tension way just like that, and you'll be doing the V-up right. The second hockey core exercise that you can do at home is known as the T-roll. The T-roll is for rotational core strength. Now, rotational core strength is critical. We did the V-ups. We got that real core stability and stiffness happening, but we also need to be strong and stable while rotating, because if you look at a slap shot, there's a lot of rotation here. When you look at a skating stride, there's a lot of rotation and anti-rotation occurring here. So stabilizing and strengthening a lot of the muscle groups in this area is critical for things like skating, things like shooting, your ability to change direction very quickly, which is your agility. This is rotation, rotation, rotation. So it's very, very, very important to incorporate some T-rolls into your hockey training regime. I'm going to bring Kevin in here, and I'm going to show you guys how to do this properly so you can incorporate it into your routine and really get a real well-rounded effect on your overall hockey performance. You're going to take this push-up position just like you see Kevin doing here, but you're not going to do a push-up at all. You're just going to rotate and open right up. Alternate from arm to arm. Make sure you're creating like a T with your body. Don't allow your arm to go too low or way too forward. Want to create that T. Fully open up because you want to get the full range of motion from all of those rotary muscles in the core. Maintain this position the entire time, and that is how you perform the T-roll. The third hockey exercise I'm going to run you through for the core is planks, and really plank variations as an entire category. Planks are an excellent core exercise, and I'm sure you're really familiar with how much they can kind of put you in the hurt box. When you're shaking, you're really working on that stability. That's a great factor of benefit that you receive from the plank, but what a lot of people don't know is you also train deep core muscles and deep hip muscles that allow you to improve your hip mobility. A lot of people don't make that connection, but if you don't have a strong enough muscle in order for it to remain stabilized during high velocity movement, what will happen is your body, as a safety mechanism, will tighten other muscles around it so that that muscle is not put at risk during high velocity movement. What essentially happens is if you don't have a strong enough stability within your hips and your core, your hips will naturally tighten themselves up so that you don't put yourself at risk for injury. This means you've got tight hips. So your stride frequency is going to suffer. Your stride length is going to suffer. Your mohawk turns are going to suffer. And then all the while, you're going to be doing hip mobility routine after static stretch, after hip cool down flow drill. You can be doing all these things, but you have a stability issue, not necessarily a mobility issue. This is one of the biggest benefits that is totally underrated by performing planks for hockey athletes. So I'm going to bring Kevin in here. I'm going to run you through a traditional plank, but then I'm also going to show you some beneficial plank variations that you can do as well. Traditional plank, you just get in the plank position. Kevin's already got it done. Not a lot of explaining, right? You want to have this nice and perfectly flat. You've got your feet close together and not far apart, because when they're far apart, it's a lot easier. Your base of support's wider. But now, let's switch to a side plank. Switching over to a side plank changes the stress that's being applied to the core, and to get the best benefit on hip mobility for all those edge work reasons I talked about, you want a combination of planks and side planks. But I'm going to tip him back into a normal plank, but with right foot elevated. This takes away a base of support, but yet he still has to keep his pelvis parallel with the ground and his shoulders parallel with the ground, which adds a lot of stability. Now, of course, you would do this for a matter of time and then switch to your other leg. Exactly right. Leg back down, do a plank with lower body rotations. This adds a rotary effect to the stability effect that the core is going through, and that, we'll have Kevin, you can stop here now, it's a long enough plank as it is, but there's a lot of variations. Plank, side plank, 1 foot elevated plank. You can do lower body rotations. The options are only limited to your creativity. Start doing some planks. The fourth exercise I'm going to run you through is a stability ball skier. Now, the stability ball is a little bit of a controversial tool, but it really shouldn't be. In fact, no tool in program design should be controversial. Instead, you always have to understand the concept that a tool is only ever as good as it is applied. When you misapply a tool, you're not going to get the maximum benefit from it. I could probably hammer a nail with the end of a screwdriver and eventually get that nail into the board, but not nearly as efficiently, as effectively, or as high quality as just a normal hammer would. You use the right tool for the right job. When you try to apply a tool to too many things, that's when you start disrespecting the real principles behind creating hockey training specific exercises. But when you know how to use the stability ball properly, you can use it in a lot of good and unique ways to target the core that a lot of other exercise equipment just doesn't offer. Enter the stability ball skiers. I love this exercise because it incorporates a lot of the things we've already been talking about. You're training the abdominals, but you're also training the deep hip muscles and the deep core muscles, and at the same time, you're doing it in a rotary fashion as well. So we're really starting to combine a lot of concepts here into one exercise. Now, because we're combining all those things, it's pretty tough. This is what I would consider an advanced exercise, but I'm gonna have Kevin come in here and show you how to get this thing done properly. You're gonna want about a medium-sized stability ball, nothing too big, nothing too small. Get your knees on the ball. Don't have your shins on the ball. Remain in a push-up position here, and then have your lower body rotate and allow that hip to dip like you see Kevin doing here. Hips dip in here. This is something you don't get from other core movements, is that large of a range of motion in terms of rotational strength development. When you're training that large of a range of motion, the amount of effects and benefits that you're seeing within that become dramatic. That's how you perform the stability ball skier. The fifth and final core exercise that you can use to become a better hockey player are medicine ball chopper variations. Now, I've talked in different articles and videos in the past about something known as the Serape effect. But put very simply, it's a concept that was developed all the way back in the 1970s in kinesiology textbooks about how when you accelerate certain areas of the body, the opposite areas of the body need to create an equal and opposite decelerative effect to balance out the acceleration that you're creating so that you don't put the body at unnecessary risk of injury. When you think about the sport of hockey, this happens a lot. When you are winding up for a slap shot, you are going to accelerate these forces of your body, but your follow through is actually going to have decelerative strength. So we're starting acceleration in the bottom right-hand corner of the body, but we're actually starting deceleration in the upper left hand. Think about when you're doing skating stride. It's constant acceleration and deceleration. You're pushing down and backwards for a stride, but what happens every time you take a stride? The opposite hand always comes up to balance out that effect. You do that when you're running, you do that when you're skating, and that's just a natural thing that we do during athletic movement. But what's happening from a biomechanical perspective is that you're balancing out forces so that you remain going forward and you're maximizing essentially the fluidity of the velocity that you're going at on the ice. This is all about the Serape effect, and you have the Serape effect vertically, horizontally, and diagonally across the entire body, and you can train all of these directions very effectively with just a medicine ball. So I'm gonna bring Kevin in here to show you guys how this works. Remember, these variations, this is for shot power, agility, speed, you name it, this is involved. We're gonna start with the vertical chopper. The vertical chopper, you're going to hold on, you're going to go fast on the way up and on the way down in a straight forward direction, utilizing the entire body. Next is the horizontal chopper, where you're going to do the same thing. High velocity, hard, 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 really rotate. That's how you perform the horizontal chopper. And then the diagonal chopper, you're going to go high to low like this, but make sure you're going fast in both directions, not just one, like you see Kevin doing here. He's going to equal that out with the other side here as well. And that's how you perform all the different variations for the chopper, the vertical, the horizontal, and the two different diagonal. This complete effect will improve your all-round hockey performance. Thanks for watching our hockey training video. If you liked that video, smash the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to our hockey training channel. And if you want to become unstoppable on the ice, click on the link in the comment section below to get free access to the Explosive Hockey Speed Training Package.